I'm Danny Brown, but never mind. Okay, so I want to just talk about more summertime dishes that I really like to do. This is another dish that I did here in Forest Hills at Danny Brown Wine Bar and Kitchen with different versions, but this is basically it. But if I could do this dish with any fish, I would choose halibut. Beautiful, beautiful halibut here from Canada that we got from Peerless. They've been doing, Peerless Fish has been doing amazing home deliveries. And so I'm so psyched. What we're gonna do is olive oil poached halibut. I have the oil here. And I gauge the temperature of the oil by keeping a thermometer in there. I'm gonna put 5 pieces of fish in there. So what I attempt to do is shoot a little bit high, knowing even though I've tempered this fish has been out for about 25 minutes, it's going to make the oil temperature drop considerably. But before I put the fish in the oil, I just want to talk about what we're going to do with the oil. I have here in a cheesecloth, I have a little orange peel, lemon peel, a few garlic cloves in the husk, some coriander, just a little star anise, and some fennel seed and some thyme leaves. And what I want to do before I put the fish in is I want to drop this, and it needs a couple of minutes in there. Here I have oven dried tomatoes that we've dried really for some time, and I have some eggplant that we roasted and we took the skins off, and that's going to go underneath, and we're going to make a black olive sauce with Alfonso olives. These are red wine cured olives from Chile. I'm going to drop them in the VitaPrep, and I end up adding just a little beet for color. This is a David Bouley thing. I know Chef Tony Senaporo worked for David Bouley. Tom Perucci, who was a chef that I had in Forest Hills, worked for David Bouley. This is a sauce that he had that was so cool. He kind of showed me what was going on. I was trying to puree these olives on their own, and I didn't know that the trick was to add a little beet. I'm gonna get the herb sachet that you just saw right in the oil, and you can listen to that. It's gonna do a little bit of a sizzle. We're getting ready to oven dry some tomatoes, and I'm also gonna slowly roast a little eggplant. So I've taken these plum tomatoes or Roma tomatoes, cut them in half. I have about a whole head of garlic, which is about 12 cloves, a bunch of sprigs of thyme. I'm going to season here with some kosher salt, all right? I'm also going to go to my tray that has olive oil on it, and I'm going to season that too. That's going to help, I think that's going to help the tomatoes not totally stick to that pan. It's just a little bit of a buffer, and it adds a little more reinforcement. We'll drizzle with some olive oil here. I'm not going to use any pepper. All right, so the tomatoes have been tossed with garlic, thyme, and salt and olive oil. I put a sheet of olive oil on the bottom of the tray, season the tray with kosher salt, and now we are going to cook our eggplant. So I've sliced all the eggplant in discs. We'll give it a fair amount of oil. I don't want to make the eggplant too greasy. We are putting this on a wire rack, so that's going to help us suspend the eggplant. I want to make sure that we salt the eggplant liberally. It should pull some moisture out on the wire rack and just give the eggplant some good flavor. I toss with a little oil, but I also dotted. I don't have a pastry brush, or else I would sort of just brush these, but I think we'll have the same effect. I just drizzled a little more olive oil on top of each one. And so both the tomatoes and the eggplant are in the oven. We're at 200 degrees, and we're going to go 4 hours approximately on each one, and then we're going to see where we're at. All right, tomatoes are out, and now we're just going to give them a peel, but this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. We're going to put these oven-dried tomatoes and eggplant, I just have them on a towel here. I don't want, when we go to plate, we're going to do another one of these plates. We've been doing this all day long, as you can tell. This is the 4th dish that we're doing today. After this, I'm going to have a drink, maybe 2 or 3 drinks. Anyway, back to this. Tomatoes, eggplant on the towel here so that we don't bleed, because we're going to make like a restaurant. You've been hearing me talk about this a lot. We're going to make like a restaurant like they do in Goodfellas. So, in the oven, we go. Now, what I want to do, I have the halibut on a towel, and I did that because I really, really want to make sure that it's dry before it goes in the oil. I don't want any moisture on the fish going into that oil. Little salt. Now, sometimes I talk about not using pepper. I think halibut can use pepper, there's no doubt, but what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to drop the halibut and I'm going to put pepper on it when it comes out of the oil. And there's a reason why I want to do that. We're going to drop the olives into the blender. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by taking 1/4 of a beet. Actually, I'm going to get generous with the beets. I'll do 2. A little bit of olive oil, right? Alfonso olives, olive oil. This is just going to give it a nice sheen, a little velvety sort of component. There's a bit in there. This prep guy, so that I can keep the sauce warm, because I don't know if you can tell how beautiful and purple this is. All right, so our oil is in at about 150 degrees. I'm going to drop the fish right now. I'm going to let this go. Remember, this halibut stayed out for about a half hour. It's nice and tempered. So this is going to take us about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to pull this out. Halibut is looking absolutely beautiful. We're more like 11 minutes on this. I'm putting that on a towel. In the meantime, let's talk about this. Our eggplant tomato is out. That's on a towel. We have our Alfonso olive sauce. I don't know if you can see. It's just so, it's pretty. And what I'm going to do, there's a rim or a border on this plate. And this sauce is so tasty that I'm going to attempt to hit almost the whole plate like this. I'll leave a little room. Let's get some stacking tools. We'll do a little Jenga here. Not really, but I'm gonna just make a nice round here. These have been marinating with the garlic and the thyme and olive oil. And here we go with the halibut. We're trying to be fancy here because I don't know, we miss restaurants, right? We miss all that stuff, I think. I do, I don't know. Right on top. Now, I'm a bit of a salt maniac. You caught that earlier. Maldon salt, or you can use fleur de sel. Use any salt you want. Kosher salt, sea salt. I do just a little bit. And here, I have some shaved fennel, which just a squeeze of lemon. I've already got some olive oil there, some salt, pepper. I did this with a knife. You can do it on a mandolin. I love doing this on a big globe meat slicer. We're just gonna put, so this is a little fennel salad, and that's right on top. And then we call this franzing. All right, these are fennel fronds. This is the top when you get the whole piece of fennel. Olive oil poached halibut, roasted eggplant, oven-dried tomatoes, Alfonso olive sauce, the great Chef David Boulay olive sauce, little fennel salad on top, and a couple of fronds. Summertime fish, olive oil poached halibut. Go and try some. Psyched you out. You thought the video was over, but it's not. Let's talk a little bit about wine and press. What do you think of this? We have olives, eggplant, tomato, fennel. I just feel like the earthiness of the olive sauce and roasted eggplant, tomato, you should be able to drink a red wine with this. So for those people that think fish doesn't go with red wine, try a little Pinot Noir. See where you're at. It's a good base line red wine. Drink some red wine, go out and eat some halibut.